this is Sarah and this is your weekly Oracle card reading for the week commencing 16th of June. And today I'm going to be using Messages from Your Angels, which is like my old school first and favourite deck because you can just use it and there's no messing. It's a great deck for beginners to use, and I just really connected with this deck first, so it's kind of holds a special place for me. So this week I've got some CD cases up now. Thanks to a lovely lady on the YouTube channel named Racer. I'm really sorry because I have shit pronunciation, so I apologise if I've pronounced your name wrong. She suggested that because I keep having problems with the cards falling over and having a slide around, that I actually opened up cassette cases, which is a great idea. Unfortunately, I kind of go mad at decluttering because I move so much that I kind of have chucked away every cassette tape I owned the time before I moved last. So not last move, the move before. So unfortunately I don't have any cassette tapes left now. But I do have CD cases, which although they won't work as well because they haven't got that big lip that cassette tapes do. It gives it a bit of a backbone and stops them flying around quite as much as they did. They're not directly on the shiny surface. So without further ado, I'm going to do this week's reading. Don't know what went down for you last week, but whoa, I had a hell of a lot of clearing and healing doing coming up there. Still feeling pretty fried from Friday's full moon. That was a biggie. So yeah, I'm kind of been taking it easy the last few days. So I've been having a good old shuffle of these. That sounds terrible. I'm having a good old shuffle behind the camera. So I'm going to draw 3 cards and see what the heck's going on this week. So, right, Monday and Tuesday. I already know what that one is now, it's just come out because it's got a little bite in the corner. My guinea pig bit it once because when he was still alive, bless him, I asked him to choose me a card and he chose that one by biting it. Wednesday and Thursday. That one for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So let's put that there. There we go. Okay, so Monday, Tuesday is Ariel. And it says, new psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way you view the world and yourself. Allow your spiritual gifts to open through study, prayer and meditation. So if you've been having any experiences recently, whether that's sort of in a clairaudient sense of being able to hear sounds and things that aren't just from around you, or clairvoyance where we may see images of people or shapes or visual things, or whether you're more clairsentient and you can you have this knowing, or you can feel things. I always find that the most difficult one to explain, but for example, I had a flashback of my childhood last week actually, and I didn't have it visually, so I didn't see what I saw when I was a child, but I felt emotionally and internally I just had that same feeling that I had at that age. And I found it hard to attribute it to any particular event visually, but I had that same feeling and I knew it was from that time because I just remembered the feeling. So if you're having anything like this at the moment, it can be, especially when these things start coming up and you're not really prepared, or they sort of take you by surprise, you can sort of feel a bit overwhelmed sometimes that it's all coming up because you don't quite know perhaps what you're going to be doing with it. So if you find you have any gifts that are coming up for you now in this area, or perhaps you've had them for quite a while and you find that your gifts are, you know, you're working with them more and they're becoming easier to work with or more frequent or developing in some way, you can encourage that more by especially meditation at the moment, I think. Prayer often helps that intention. And also just studying, reading up more about spiritual and psychic gifts. I feel as well from looking at this card finally that if you have already connected with these gifts in some way up to now, whether you know absolutely what you're doing or you just sort of have these flashes of sights, sounds or feelings, and you know it's there, but you not necessarily know concretely what to do with it. I feel that if we have these at the moment, that there is a sort of heavenly download, if you will, which is kind of portrayed by this card. It's like a heavenly download of information coming down to us at the moment, to allow us to develop those gifts further so that we can help others with them, with that sole intention. So I feel like that's coming up at the beginning of the week. So maybe if you're feeling a bit, you know, like I don't know what's going on with this, I have these feelings where I see these things and I'm not quite sure where I'm going with them, then meditation would be great at the beginning of the week. And I feel like perhaps we might start to get a bit more clarity about how we can use these gifts, how we can harness them within ourselves, use them to help ourselves and other people. So the middle of the week is Ray, and she says, yoga and exercise are essential to your well-being, peace of mind and spiritual growth right now. So, right, yoga, exercise, yay! Okay, so the sun is shining this week, and, well, it is in the UK, for a change. So we're being guided midweek to do some exercise, especially yoga, I think, if we can, some kind of gentle movement, but particularly yoga, because if we're having this kind of download of information at the moment, especially if you've been having it last week as well with the full moon and everything, it was pretty emotional last week, and then there was this kind of feeling of either being really energised or really drained from that full moon. And now we're getting this kind of spiritual download, which I keep calling it because I can't think of any other term right now. So that can be kind of overwhelming in a way for us as we are now, as we are in human bodies. We're still humans and having this experience at the end of the day, so having these kind of spiritual downloads, we can feel either really energised and we'll want to run around and do loads of exercise, in which case bounce off the walls, great. Or if you're feeling really drained, then something a bit slower maybe, and more focused, like yoga would be great. I feel like also we have this thing of physical movement to sort of cope with this overwhelm and this information, and to help integrate it within ourselves on every level. So whether it passes down through the spiritual bodies and through the emotional bodies, I feel like to sort of really get it integrated in our lives so we can manifest things in reality, then we need to do that physical movement to help that integrate into our body. The CD's moving now. There we go. And then finally, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have Sonia. Sonia, it reminds me of that singer from the 90s. But no, it's Sonia the Angel. And she says, I bring you a message from your deceased loved one. I am happy, at peace, and I love you very much. Please don't worry about me. We can also connect with loved ones who have crossed over, because often, you know, they've been on this plane as well, so they kind of have really first-hand experience of what we're going through with the whole being human thing. Also as well, if you're working a lot with overcoming blocks, particularly at the moment, or you feel like something in particular is holding you back, but you're not quite sure what that could be now, you may find quite often we have sort of inherited patterns that pass down from our ancestors and pass down our family genetic lines, which can cause us to have issues in the here and now. So sometimes there's just some really old stuff that gets carried down that needs healing, and if, for those of us who have spiritual gifts which are developing, one particular way we can use those is to heal anything that's coming up from the past that needs to be healed. So you can connect to ancestors that have passed over. Maybe the simplest way is if you just go into a bit of a relaxation meditation, and then if you feel like there is a block from the past that needs to be healed, you can ask for whichever ancestor can help you with that to sort of come forward and see what you get. So I think we're being guided towards this weekend to maybe connect with those who've passed over, because they want to help us, you know, just as much as all the angels do. So even just looking at the colours of the cards all together this week, it seems like a pretty spiritual kind of week. Maybe a bit less grounded in practicality and action, physical action, than previous weeks have been.